I'm a dermatologist, let's talk hygiene. Start washing under your arms with an acne wash that has benzoyl peroxide. This is going to cut down on the bacteria that live under your arms and break down your sweat and cause you to stink. If you deal with acne breakouts that heal with a dark mark, consider using a salicylic acid body wash. Salicylic acid is anti-inflammatory and helps gently exfoliate and lift up some of that hyperpigmentation, and it also helps in cutting down on acne breakouts. Don't forget to wash behind your ears. I suggest using an anti-dandruff shampoo back there because the same little yeast that causes dandruff in our scalp thrives behind the ear and can cause breakouts of flaky, red, irritated patches when you don't clean behind your ears. You get rough and bumpy skin, aka keratosis pilaris. That's due to a buildup of dry skin cells around the hair follicle. Using a mild body wash with lactic acid can help soften and exfoliate those rough bumps, helping to smooth and calm down the skin.
You ever get a whiff of yourself and been like, phew, I need a solution, honey. We don't seem to admit out loud that caring for that sweet spot in between our legs is a journey of trial and errors, honey. Anything can throw it off, yet we put on this facade that we always smell good. Baby, who are we fooling? We ain't always ready to be eaten now. I have tried so many different washes and finally came across the perfect plant-derived solution, baby, the honey pot sensitive foaming wash. I learned that artificial scents and fragrance throw off my pH balance, girl. And the petals of the flower need a little more tender love and care than just plain water, baby. Give them lips some love. Elevating your feminine hygiene routine with a herb-powered wash formulated with only the best naturally derived ingredients is my kind of pampering self-care. And who doesn't want to stay ready to be eaten? Prrr.
If you use the ordinary hyaluronic acid serum, you're paying too much for that shit. My credentials are I'm autistic and this is my special interest, and also this is what I used to look like, so. I'm not shitting on the ordinary. I'm an ordinary lover, as you can see, but there is just a much more effective humectant you can be using to repair your moisture barrier. And that is vegetable glycerin. It's actually probably something that's in all of the moisturizing products you use because it has a reputation for being an extremely effective humectant. What is a humectant, you may ask? A humectant is a substance that takes water from your environment and draws it into the skin through hydrogen bonding. So the hyaluronic acid from the ordinary is a humectant, but the vegetable glycerin works better because the actual molecule of glycerin is smaller and can penetrate deeper into the skin. The hyaluronic acid is good for stopping dry skin from getting worse, but glycerin will actually attract more moisture to your skin and will actually moisturize it rather than just preventing it from getting worse. But the real reason I'm making this video is the hyaluronic acid serum from The Ordinary is $8 for a 30 milliliter bottle, and this is $3 for 118 milliliters. Disclaimer, you cannot put 100% glycerin directly on your face. It can dry your skin out, especially if you live in drier climates. This is because if the environment around you is more dry than your skin, it'll actually take the moisture from your skin and pull it out into the environment. Personally, what I do is following my skincare, I'll steam up the shower. I don't know if this is actually scientifically proven, but in theory, if I make the room around me have more moisture in it by steaming it up, my face will be able to absorb more moisture. Anyways, get yourself some glycerin, put it in your moisturizer that you already use, and let me know if it works for you.
3 things that has completely changed my hygiene. After I get done brushing my teeth, I like to use these disposable tongue scrapers I got from Target. You'll really be surprised how much gunk and bacteria that can sit on your tongue. So if you're looking for fresher breath and a cleaner mouth, definitely try this tip out. Next, I like to rinse my mouth out with coconut oil. I definitely put way too much in my mouth and this shit tastes horrible. But I like to swish this around my mouth for about a minute every day for pearly white teeth. The last tip is cleaning up your underarms. I noticed that when my underarms are super hairy, I get musty quicker. So for fresher pits, I like to keep up with my underarm maintenance.
Feminine hygiene tips I wish I knew a whole lot sooner. So let's talk about deodorant, ladies. You definitely want to make sure that you're picking up an anti-perspirant deodorant. Anti-perspirant deodorant is not only going to block out any odors, but most importantly, it's going to make sure that there is no sweat All of our hoo-has are not the same. Therefore, what may work for somebody else may not work for the rest of us. So to keep it safe, I would highly recommend to use an intimate wash only downstairs. Use an exfoliator prior to shaving. This is going to get all that dead skin off and make sure that you get a closer shave. And one that I have really been loving right now is Tree Hut's Tropic Glow. Let's talk about the bootay. Tissue is not always going to thoroughly clean you back there, but a wipe is going to make sure that there is no irritation or no lingering odors. So please make sure that you are using some type of wet.
5 tips for healthy skin in your 20s and beyond. For reference, I'm a board certified dermatologist. I did my medical school education at Harvard, and then I did my dermatology training at the University of Miami, where I served as their associate director of the Skin of Color division. I'm also turning 35 this year and take most of this advice myself. First one is to find a sunscreen that you love and use it every single day. Sunscreen is not just for the days that you think you're going to get a lot of sun, that you're sitting at the beach or by the pool. The damage that comes from the sun have to do with the cumulative effect of the sun. That means it adds up over time. These little amounts of sun add up and eventually start to break down your collagen, your elastin, what basically gives our skin its youthful bounce and can lead to early wrinkles. Other things that can lead to early wrinkles include extra sun exposure, tanning beds, and then things like smoking, too much alcohol. Basically, living a healthy life is great for your skin. The second one, and I might get heat for this one, is to not fall for the preventative Botox trap. Preventative Botox is a thing. However, I see girls starting it way too soon. First, you don't need it at all. So I will always say that, and I always tell my patients that. You don't need it. However, if you want it, you really shouldn't be considering it until you're actually starting to see some of these lines. We don't want to see them fully set in. That's what we're talking about when we're talking about preventing set-in lines. But when you're starting to really see them build up around this time, that's when you should start thinking about preventative Botox. I think at this age, probably the best thing to be using is a retinoid. And if you have really sensitive skin, maybe an over-the-counter retinol. But that's really one of the best things you can be using, along with the sunscreen, of course, to preserve the collagen that you have and sort of delay the need for Botox down the line if it's something you choose to do. Listen to your skin in the stage that it's in, not in the stage that it used to be, and certainly not according to trends. Oftentimes at this age, I see women using products that are too drying for their skin type, and they tell me, oh, well, I used to have really bad acne, or I've always had really oily skin. Except they don't have oily skin right now. Right now, they have dry skin, so you need to treat it as such. Everybody doesn't need a hyaluronic acid serum. In fact, hyaluronic acid serums break me out, right? So listen to your skin. Our fourth one, please, please, please avoid any facial slimming procedures. I'm talking things like buccal fat removal, radiofrequency, skin tightening. Our fat in our face is something that we lose as we age, and I just see women all of the time sort of regretting this as they get older. And finally, pick a skin routine and stick with it. Really the basic skincare that anybody needs in their 20s. In the morning, you're going to cleanse, you're going to moisturize, and then you're going to use your SPF. In the evening, we're going to do a double cleanse, then we're going to use our active, and then our moisturizer on top.
Watch how I take this kitty from a Persian to a Sphynx. First, I gave her a good scrub to get all the fleas out. Smooth Legend, that's what I call her. Then some Happy Hairless Shave Butter to soften up that fur. Now it's time to groom her. She was a little feisty, so I gave her some pats to calm her down. She was a good girl, so I gave her some glazed donut treat and finished with some serum to make her look pretty. Nothing like a fresh kitty.
So I've seen a lot of people on TikTok talking about this specific mouthwash right here. They're saying that it's a total game changer, works really well, and lasts all day. But what they haven't told you is that this one is better. I'm using this for over a year, and I will honestly never go back to anything else ever again. I like it because it's got these 2 different nozzles right here that dispense different solutions that mix together in the cap at the same time when you pour. So whatever it is activates as soon as you go to use it, and I don't know if that helps it stay fresher longer, but it really works. You'll find this at all the same places as TheraBreath, and it's right around the same price. Bye now, thank me later.
Makeup remover, oil-based cleanser, water-based cleanser, toner, serums, eye cream, retinol, then moisturizer.
Let me put you onto some simple yet very effective coochie care, okay? The number one way is to simply incorporate a probiotic into your everyday routine, okay? If you don't want to take a probiotic, make sure you eat yogurt that contains probiotic. If you are using any of those soaps like Summer's Eve, Vagisil, it's canceled. Throw it out, okay? Grab yourself an all-natural feminine hygiene wash. I don't care if it's for me or somebody else, but get you something that's all-natural ingredient. Please avoid wearing thongs as much as possible because that string tends to move back and forth from your hoo-ha to your booty, and you don't want to transfer those booty crumbs to your hoo-ha and you get an infection, okay? Stop wearing it as much as possible. Make sure you're keeping your booty clean throughout the day, sis. Please make sure you keep it clean. Get you some booty wipes. We got those too. And boric acid depositories. The medication the doctor gives you a yeast infection.
Girl tips I wish I knew sooner, feminine hygiene edition. Cotton underwear is going to be the best option because it's the most breathable. Make sure they're not too tight and change at least once a day.